So I've had a few comments about my bike vlogging setup. You know, anyone who's tried using GoPros on bikes and stuff like that, or taking any footage out on the road, will know it's pretty tricky to get decent sound quality given all the wind noise. And so anyway, I thought I'd just in this film show you a little bit about my setup. You can see on my collar a little furry mouse, and that hides my Rode lavalier microphone, which runs down inside my jersey to a wireless Go transmitter, also by Rode. So that routes the signal wirelessly to the GoPro Hero 8 that has a media mod and a wireless Go receiver mounted on the cold shoe on the side. So it's not perfect, it's not a waterproof setup. The media mod is not waterproof, and neither is any of the road gear. So it wouldn't be great if there's a downpour, but I found most of the time it does a pretty decent job of cutting down the wind noise on the road and getting a slightly better quality of audio. I'll also show you in the film just what the setup looks like when I get back home, and I'll also give you a comparison now of how the wireless Go system performs versus just the media mod straight, which I'll show you in a second. So this is the media mod by itself, and I know a lot of people don't really rate the microphone on the front of the media mod. Sounds a little bit tinny at the best of times, but the media mod is really useful just to be able to plug in your external microphones on your GoPro. So you'll see the hand strap here and the media mod. So this is a GoPro Hero 8. It's in a standard media mod that you can buy from GoPro or Amazon anywhere. And this is the GoPro Wrist Mount Kit, which works quite nicely. It's got a rotation and it's got a hinge as well, so that gives you lots of nice adjustments, different angles you can get on the bike. The Rode wireless Go system can go onto either of them, and then it just goes in the back with a little TRS connector that goes from the output of the Rode into the back of the GoPro. The GoPro is quite useful because it can adjust the input sensitivity on the media mod, and the Rode as well you can adjust the output sensitivity so you can get the levels just right. In the film that I did, actually, the media mod was, and the Rode were giving a slightly high output, and so there was a little bit of clipping on some of the sections as I was shouting. So that sort of thing you can adjust if you want to, but it's not too bad in the film. And I think you'll agree that the audio quality is a lot better when I was actually using this little fella, which is underneath, is hiding the lavalier Rode microphone, and that was sort of clipped onto my collar just here in the film, and then the transmitter was tucked away inside my jersey. The other thing that's quite neat about this, if you haven't got the extra lavalier microphone, is the Rode has actually got a microphone built in itself just on top there, and the kit comes with some of these little furry things as well, just to stick on there. Now I've found they're prone to falling off, and the microphone quality isn't as good on this, but actually it's pretty decent. So, you know, just if you're starting out, it's worth experimenting with. But yeah, you can plug the microphone straight into the top here. You can also use the voice activation features with the wireless Go system to activate the recording, so you don't need to faff around pressing the buttons or anything like that. So that feature works pretty well most of the time. What you'll notice on all of my films, I hope, is that the new stabilisation features in the Hero 8 are absolutely brilliant, and it's quite possible to hand hold the camera, run along with a selfie stick and get rock steady stabilisation, which I don't think you could have achieved a few years ago without a gimbal. We're just coming to Buckinghamshire and we're going through the village of Long Crendon, and you start to sort of see a different style of village. Got this lovely old thatched cottages and barns and things. It's really nice. There's a couple of downsides, I suppose, of putting your camera on your hand, and one you'll see here is, you know, obviously if you want to have two hands on the handlebars, and if you're going down a steep incline like I am at the moment, you're obviously restricted in the camera angle that you're going to get then. And also you'll find, if you're on a stiff bike like I'm on, you will get a bit of movement over the bumps, as you can probably see here as I'm going down this bumpy hill. And the other downside of this setup is to do with the media mod itself. What you have to do is you have to take off the battery compartment flap and you slide the GoPro inside the media mod, and it still uses the GoPro mounting hinges on the bottom of the camera. And what that means is whenever you want to change the battery, you'll find you have to basically take the whole thing out of the media mod and disassemble it, and it probably takes you a few minutes, and it's not something that's very easy to do without stopping, for sure. And I find that to be a bit of a pain and a bit of a design frustration really with the GoPro Hero 8. To try and overcome that, I have tried mounting an external battery pack on my arm, just where I put it in a little kind of arm phone case, and running a short USB-C cable to enable me to charge the camera as I go, and so I can do long periods of footage on longer bike rides. And that works okay to an extent, but what I've found is the GoPro is unable to record and charge successfully at the same time, and it's been fraught with issues. What usually seems to end up happening is the GoPro freezes and stops responding, and I suspect that might be because it's overheating trying to record 4K video and charge at the same time, and it has some kind of automatic shut off. But what I found is charging and filming at the same time don't really work, but I still occasionally use that setup, and all it means I do is I stick the USB-C charger in the back of the camera between sections of filming so I can keep the battery topped up, and that does mean I can film on long rides without having to dismount and change the battery. And if you're used to filming in 4K on the Hero 8, you'll know that you probably get 3/4 of an hour, 50 minutes out of a battery before it goes flat, so it's not very good for long rides. The other thing I talked about in the film was that you're able to plug, if you want, the microphone straight into the back on that 3.5mm connector there. And I also talked about using the USB-C port, which is on the back there, to enable you to charge up the GoPro in between filming. So those are some other options. One thing to note, if you're going to use this microphone, Rode sell two versions. They sell an iPhone version with a different plug on the end, and they sell this as a standard TRS version with two little kind of tips on the 3.5mm jack. If you want to use this with your iPhone, you'll need to get a little converter. It looks a little bit like this and enables you to plug it into the iPhone, and it converts that to a 3-tip jack. Right, I think it's about to rain, so I think we'd better stop. This is across a high section of Oxfordshire. It's going up towards Shotover Hill, and you get fantastic panoramas up here. And one of the benefits of using this GoPro mounted to my wrist is I can do these kind of sweeping panoramas. And okay, they're not always successful because you're limited a little bit by the mount and obviously trying to ride your bike at the same time. But I think it makes a much more interesting footage than just having a camera mounted on the bike. And you also get to see beautiful poppies. Isn't this lovely?
Turn right onto Cheersley Road.
I almost missed the turning there. Classic. So, the sign there to Nether Winchendon and Quainton, where these cyclists are pulled up, is a big hill. And I very nearly didn't get up it last time I came up. It's really steep. And this is the biggest start to come down Wasden Hill. It's definitely a two hands on the handlebars hill, this one. So I will have to move the camera. So here we are at the lovely village of Quainton. Thought I'd better show you the windmill lists. There's the windmill. One nice thing about this wrist mount on the GoPro is it's got a swivel on it, so you can face it forwards or face it sideways. Gives you all kinds of options for your shots.
I know.
Just spin it round.
Yeah, I know, we've been lucky. Oh.
Get the windmill in the background. How about that?